How much of a success so far has this conference been for the party?
Well, I believe it's highly successful. Obviously, Nick Clegg was with us last night. Kirsty also did a fantastic question time with Nick Clegg. We are looking forward to trying to dispel and perhaps scotch the myths now that unfortunately have ensued from Westminster, that all politicians are crap. Because unfortunately our credibility is at a very low ebb, and I personally worry about this. Everybody thinks we're all scoundrels and rogues, and I think last weekend's debacle with Gordon Brown's entourage has shown again that we as a party have to show as best we can that we are upright and as honest as possible, because basically people think we are appalling and they're not interested anymore, which is very, very sad.
How can you do that? How can you overturn this tide of public opinion?
Well, by trying to explain that we do try our best. Nobody's perfect. I'm certainly not perfect, but we do try our best. And obviously in the Assembly, we've got an enormous amount of openness and transparency in terms of our allowances, etc. We're obviously not in receipt of so much anyway. And unfortunately for us, some of the big issues around some of the ministers and their spends of allowances have completely, I suppose, muddied the waters. So we've got a long way to go, but that's really the work that we as a party have got to do as much as anything else.
And finally, Eleanor, there's a lot of talk, or there was a lot of talk in the hall this morning about getting more young people involved in politics and engaged in the political process.
Yeah.
How would your party go about achieving that?
Well, I know I personally try and see at least 3 or 4 groups of youngsters, whether they're schools or colleges, either in the Assembly during term times or around my region in North Wales. I think it's absolutely incumbent upon us to try and engage as best as we can. I personally have spoken in debates and led debates about lowering the voting age, and I think there are a huge amount of stats to show that if people do not vote early, they do not really vote through the rest of their lives. They are taxed at 16, etc., and they can do all kinds of other things which we can't discuss here, and I personally believe we need to do our very, very best to